When I bought my first horse, I thought I was ready for everything. The feeding, the caring, the cleaning, just everything, and the riding. Well, for the first months, I took care of her. She was my first horse, by the way. Her name is Libby. For the first months, I loved to take care of her. I loved to clean the paddock and everything, the feeding. But after the first few months, the worst that probably every horse person can imagine happened. The colic. Well, I didn't have a lot of experience. It was my first horse. I was way younger than I am now. And I didn't know what colic actually was. I didn't recognize the signs. Luckily enough, I was in time for it. In one weekend, she had 7 colic attacks. I had to call the veterinarian 5 times. He came, he gave her Buscopan injection. I had to walk around with her a lot, but it didn't look good at all. It was, for me, very stressful. I had a whole weekend of sleepless nights. I was in panic. I didn't know what to do. I was just in a horrible moment, in a horrible time. And it happened a lot. Like very often she was having attacks and it was coming back and everything, and I really didn't know what to do. And in this video, I just want to inform you what colic is, how to recognize it, how to prevent it, what you're gonna do when they eventually get colic to avoid the stress and the panic that I had to go through. So what actually is colic? Probably most horse owners heard about it. Colic is not a disease, but colic is a fancy word for abdominal pain. There are many different kinds of colic. One of them, you probably heard about it, is the gas colic, where the stomach fills with air. They fart quite a lot when it's resolving. Second very common one is sand colic. It's when horses are on small grass and they insert also the roots of the grass with some sand, or when you have a paddock with sand and you give the hay, or they are eating hay from the ground with sand on it, or just bad quality of hay can happen too. And we have the impaction colic, where something gets stuck. Each of these colics looks different, but can escalate very fast if you don't recognize them. And it can cause quite some complications, such as a surgery. So it's very important to know the normal behavior of your horse and notice when something is different with them, so you can also contact your vet in time before it's too late. So my vet told me horses have a long, sensitive digestive system. When it stops working, it can escalate very fast in abdominal pain and can cause, obviously, the colic. So the first step is not trying to find out which kind of colic they have, but just recognize the colic. So what are some early warning signs for colic within your horse? First of all, as I said before, know your horse, know the normal behavior of your horse, and know when something is off and different. When my horse, that one, Libby, first had the colic, like I said, I didn't really recognize it. It was also very new to me. She was laying down in the grass. Well, she loves eating grass all the time. She was getting up again and laying on a different place. I was just like, okay, she might be just tired. Then she started rolling, looking at her belly when she was standing. And then I thought like, okay, something might be off. And I started calling my veterinarian. Whenever your horse starts rolling very violently, you really have to watch out for it, because it can cause the column to twist, and then you might need surgery, or it can be sadly fatal. So when they start rolling very violently, you kind of have to pay attention to it, because the column might twist and it can be deadly for your horse, or you're gonna need to do quite expensive surgery. Early signs to look for: not eating, not drinking, looking at their belly or biting their belly even, restlessness, like I had with my horse, laying down, getting up, laying down again, getting up, rolling, getting up. And sometimes also it looks like they are trying to pee, so they are stretching out a lot. And in more serious cases, the sweating and the rolling, as I said earlier. When you recognize those signs and you think your horse will have a colic, it is time to call your vet. While waiting for your vet, you can walk around with your horse, but don't force them and don't make them tired or anything. Just walk around if they feel like, to prevent them also from rolling. Make sure they cannot eat anymore. It also depends on which kind of colic it is. It's very important that we don't keep adding food into their system, but please keep fresh water available for them. Also start thinking about what was the last thing they ate, when was the last time they ate. Try to recognize signs, how often they happen, when they happen. and all these kind of things. So the veterinarian can also know if it's very urgent, if it's in an early stage or anything. So very important, write everything down and tell it to the vet once he arrives. But in any case, prevention is better than reaction. Most cases of colic can be avoided by your daily care routine for them. I had a very close contact with my vet for my horse to understand and to know the signs better for her. And of course, how to prevent it from happening again. He gave me 3 very good tips that I still use on my horses. Just about the daily care. First of all, movement is very important. The movement is actually a very easy one. Please don't close your horse into a stable, but give them space to walk around. You can put hay on different places, you can put water on another place, you can give them food in different places. So just make sure they have to walk during the day to get from one to the other place. The second thing that I got from him was let the horse eat 24/7, which means make sure you give enough hay. Horses are made to graze all day and not to eat in portions like we humans do. So make sure they have something to chew on during the whole day. The third tip he gave me is change slowly. We all know sometimes we have to change the hay delivery. Sometimes we have to buy other food or change some food with lower sugar or anything. We cannot avoid changes, sadly enough. But for horses, it's really important to make these changes very slow. If you have to buy other kind of food, another brand, make it up to 7 or 10 days even to make the change very slowly by mixing the previous food with the new food. Same with the hay. If you have to buy other hay, which is fine, but mix it. So make sure you have a little bit left of your previous hay, that you can mix it with the new hay so the horse can adjust. Also another one, please watch out for the short grass, especially in spring. It has a lot of sugar inside. It's also short, so they might take up the scent with the roots from it, and it's just about the sugar, which can also cause abdominal pain. The weekend, my vet came over 5 times. With the most expensive bill I can imagine for me. He gave me a tip when I recognize early signs for her colic to give a little bit of oil directly in the mouth so things go through smoothly. In America, there's actually even a story that somebody told me. If they recognize a horse with colic, they put him in the trailer and they drive on a very wobbly road so there is movement and the things will unstuck themselves while driving around with the horse and avoid major colic attacks. Never tried it, but who knows, it might work. So when you recognize some signs of colic, call your vet. Don't panic, because panic freezes you and your horse needs clarity. There are 5 steps you can already do while waiting for your veterinarian to arrive. Step 1, remove all the food. Make sure your horse cannot eat. Keep water available at all times. Step 2 is call your veterinarian. So first remove everything and then call your veterinarian so the horse cannot keep eating. Step 3 is observe. Know what's happening, how much it's happening, how severe the pain is for your horse so you can inform your vet. Walk them gently, but don't force them. And the 5th one is follow your vet's instruction. If your vet tells you to don't walk around, just don't. If your vet tells you to walk around and trot a bit and walk and trot, which I had to do, just follow their instructions. Just a reminder, colic is urgent, but not hopeless. So recognize the signs and react on it. Most horses recover fully from it. The early detection, so observing the signs of colic, can save their lives eventually. Prevention of colic is make sure your horse moves every day and are not stuck in a stable. Second of all is make sure they can graze 24/7 to keep their system active and avoid sudden changes. So mix new food with previous food. I hope you learned from it to avoid the mistakes that I had to go through and the stress I had to go through and just in general. If you want to learn more about colic, I'm gonna add a video about feeding mistakes that can cause the colic. I also already made a video about kissing spine syndrome, which you can find on my profile. And feel free to join also my community where everybody has horses, we can learn from each other, we can share thoughts with each other. The link is in the description. I would love to welcome you personally to the community with like-minded people.